continue being who you are. As we do that, Adams, Rashid, Dangobe, you're joining us as well. Nana Kwame, Hamza Jr., the Maestro, Prince Odago or Odrago, Abdurrahman, good morning. Sabina Akumenyin, and then Ampoma Emmanuel, good morning to all of you. Now, let me just introduce our guest for the morning, governing communicator or communicating for the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the ruling New Patriotic Party. I have my sweet sister here, who today will not be giving me a lot of troubles and be mischievous. I'm doing what they do to me, so... Loratu Musasaka, how are you?
I'm good, Roland.
Yeah, I've shocked you today. All right, so I have Nanaya Chimpim.
Why are you laughing?
Nanaya Chimpim Jantwa right here. She is the General Secretary for the Convention People's Party, the CPP. Good morning to you,
I'm
Nanaya.
not your sweet sister.
Oh, where you? You and I, we've been in the trenches for a long time. So.
Far away.
Yes. And you've been good.
Not today.
Good. Not today. You were doing public service for a long time. And then also, first time I'm meeting her on the set. She doesn't come very often, so I'm hoping that after today she'll be a regular. Nanekia Avle, good morning to you.
Hi, Roland. How are you?
Yeah, communicating for the NDC.
Great.
All right. This one, has it been distributed to party folks or the colors? Because I'm seeing it on TV.
Oh, yes, that's my brand.
No, your dress.
My dress?
Oh, you didn't take notice?
Yeah, she didn't.
Yeah. All right. And a lot has been happening over the last 24 hours, and it's about the invitational arrest of Professor Frimpong Boateng. And you know, when we had that leaked report, first leaked by Kevin Taylor and subsequently taken on by the whole of the Ghanaian media, now it's reached the point where the special prosecutor has taken keen interest. And apparently when we had that interaction with him, he did say 2 weeks ago, exactly on May 16, he was invited subsequently, I'll call it an arrest, because he was given bail by the special prosecutor for reasons he cites said to be a bit untenable, unfair. Well, let's get an insight from him, and then we'll come back to the table and be asking the questions.
Did it give you an indication of exactly the corruption or corruption-related activity that...
There are a lot of questions. I cannot go over those questions now. Maybe I'm not supposed to do that. I don't know. They're doing their investigation, so I don't want to go into those details. But I want to a lot of questions, yes.
Were you charged?
No, I was not charged.
And so it was just on the basis of that corruption or corruption-related
investigation.
But now this is coming out now that you have been, you were arrested and granted bail. Why do you think this is coming up now after this happened 16th May?
I really don't know, but somebody called me and sent me a link that he read it from OSP online portal. I don't know whether that is true or not.
I see, but was it in relation to these excavators?
They mentioned we go over a lot of topics, so
including the missing.
I will not mention any specific thing, but we went through a lot of things. But as I said, I'm not very sure whether I'm supposed to mention them or not, because records were taken and they have the records. And
did they make reference to the details in the reports that was leaked, your report?
No. We didn't go over, I don't think we went over the reports that I wrote.
I see.
No.
During that 2-hour period,
no.
There was no reference to the...
No.
Did the OSP give you an indication that you're going to be invited again?
Well, they said if they did me, they will invite me. This is what I was told.
Have you seen this shoot as well by Captain Poda?
I have seen it, and I've given my lawyers are dealing with it. Yes, the interesting thing is that, you know, it goes through the internet, social media for a day or two before I'm served. So I was served this afternoon.
This afternoon?
Yes.
And what exactly is he?
He said I've defamed him.
Defamation?
Defamation.
Same as Gabi Asare-Chuda?
Yes.
So
and there's a third one.
There's a third shoot as
yes.
well?
John Oforiatta Dawune, the former National Security Coordinator for the Central Region.
He was also captured in the report?
Captured in the report. Together with Kouzi, also suing for defamation.
John Oforiatta is also suing for defamation.
Yes.
You are expecting a lot more of these suits of defamation, is it not?
Yeah, I'm ready for them. Some of them will be sorry.
And you still stand by the details of this report?
I don't deny the report. I wrote the report, but I have not published any report. And the report was meant for the presidency and not for public consumption.
Do you feel targeted, I mean, in all of this?
Of course, in a way, I'll be a fool not to feel that way, you know.
And one ardent viewer of the show is Riches Gatomenyo of Aluex Tema. Good morning to you, and also watching this right now. Wants me to ask a question. It looks like the state apparatus, government apparatus is hounding the man. That's what the bulk of social media commentary is. What do you say to that?
Roland, good morning. And before I even start, today happens to be my mother's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday,
I'd like
Mommy.
to wish her well. And interestingly, tomorrow will be a year. Exactly. I mean, it was a Thursday like this when I sat on set and went to bury my younger sister.
No,
So it's
our
quite
condolences.
mixed feeling. But, I mean, be as it may, life goes on.
Yeah.
Pray for them. I wish my mom well. Roland, I don't know if that's what you want to think, that government is hounding Professor
I'm not the one.
Frimpong Boateng.
I'm picking
Because for
summation of views on public and social media.
I'm wondering where you are picking these views from, and the group of people you are picking it from, because these investigations on Galamsey and its related issues didn't start yesterday. We've sat here, we've discussed these issues. We are all quite passionate about the eradication or minimizing the hazards of Galamsey. Just 2 or 3 days ago, if I recollect clearly, the minister responsible for water resources and sanitation was in Takwa and was calling on the people to all come on board and help save our water bodies, because we are fast losing our water bodies that we've been using for God knows how long. We all came to meet it. Those of us living now came to meet them. And it's a responsibility on us to leave them as they were, just as we saw them. In October 22, the OSP has been doing a lot of investigations. I mean, not long ago, you remember the Northern Development Authority issue with the CEO and his deputies. I mean, we all recollect the PPA issues. Even related to Galamsey, the secretary to the IMIC, or is it Interministerial, I've forgotten the acronym, Charles Bissue, was equally invited by the OSP for investigations. In October 20, I think it's 22nd October, I'm not recollecting the dates, but sometime in October, the OSP came out with a statement on how they were investigating the issues related to the committee and Galamsey related issues, and how everybody who has been named in that issue will be called to. Fast forward to May, think about May 2nd or May 3rd, they came out with another statement when the call for investigation was at another level. That was after the report authored by Professor Frimpong was released. They also came out with another statement to indicate that they are still under investigations. And they welcome all the calls from civil society, the general public, and all that, and they are ongoing. So if Prof is invited, and he himself, in his own words, said he was ready to cooperate with any state agency that was investigating it. Don't also forget that His Excellency the President had called on the CID to investigate the issues, and they're also ongoing because their mandates differ. Now we are having this conversation today because yesterday, and I'm told they were started by, but I saw a flyer from Media General, if I should put it that, because all your media houses were put under there that he had been arrested. I mean, everybody who saw that flyer will panic, only for us to get to know that he was actually invited on the 15th of May, not
16th.
Yes, the 16th of May, and was given self-recognizance bail. For me, with the powers that the special prosecutor has, and with the account that the prof has given, he had 2 lawyers by him. I don't think if the special prosecutor had done anything untoward, his lawyers wouldn't have
accompanied him.
No, wouldn't have come in, because he himself said he had 2 lawyers by him. I mean, investigators know more than we do. And I've always said time without number that when it comes to security agencies and investigations to do with things that we are all interested in, sometimes we have to be measured in our reportage and the things we say, because I don't think it's everything that the OSP can come out with. And OSP has been quite interactive, because every time that they are doing some of these things, they come out with statements to that. And I've
But when they
referred you
invited
to
Professor Frimpong Boateng, they never issued a statement.
But Roland, they
You
said
see, you are
they
even
are,
smiling.
they said they are
because,
investigating.
you know, it creates the impression that there is a deliberate attempt to... sometimes you frisk people. You know how the police frisk you?
But Roland, you listen to Prof himself. You had an exclusive with him, as you put it.
And he was not given a self...
Did he mention anything? They wrote to him.
Self-cognizance bill.
No, now we are having different encounters,
Okay.
because
Please
according
go
to the
ahead.
OSP, they gave him. And I was also thinking that once you spoke to the prof, you would have also come with the OSP side of the story. Because I think it's fair.
The OSP
it's fair
side
for
of the
you to
story
get
is
to the
public.
OSP's.
The OSP side of the story is public.
Yes. So from their side, he was giving self-recognizance bill and all that. Now there's another version to it.
A friend bailed him according to the
Have you
information
gone
about
back
2
to
million.
them? But I've seen 2 other statements that say, and if you think that OSP should release a statement to say that they are inviting Professor Frimpong Boateng, I think that's stretching it, because they released statement to let us know that they are investigating. Inviting people to come to them is part of the process, unless we want to disagree
Of the general
on that.
investigations, you said.
Yes, because everybody that is mentioned in that statement, they said, was going to be called or contacted. And they wrote to Prof. He himself said that he honored their invitation. When they waited for his lawyers, he came, they took them out. If by the powers of the special prosecutor, they think that, and what is an arrest basically? An arrest is restricting your movement because you are involved in one thing or the other, you know. I mean, if he wasn't giving self-recognizance bail and it's being said that, then that's a bit odd. But I really find it very hard to believe if someone of his stature, unless the special prosecutor knows something beyond what we all know, that is making them take that.
Do you think that
action.
Professor Frimpong Boateng has status, a stature that you talk about?
Of course.
Do you think the way he's being treated is commensurate to the stature
How
and the
is
service?
he being
in public?
treated? You wanted the OSP to go to his house and continue with their investigation, or not invite him there. He himself said he was ready to cooperate. If he had been ruffled, they had gone, picked him up like Rambo style and all that, then we can be having this conversation. But he was invited. He ordered an investigation. Through that, he himself said they asked him a lot of questions that he can't disclose. So it's also privy to the fact that some of these things need to be kept, because it's still investigations.
Right.
You know, they need to get what they are looking for before they are. People are trained to do things. The things you are trained to do as a journalist, they are also trained as investigators to do things in a certain way. Lawyers are trained to do their interrogations, and investigators are trained to do their things in a certain way. So I think that we need to be measured when it comes to this issue, because if we really want to get to the bottom of this, because at the end of the day, it's the taxpayers' money that is involved. When it comes to all these things, the committees meeting, all those things that came, it involves citizens, it involves our taxes. So let's give OSP the space. I mean, I'll be the first person to come out if the professor was ruffled and all that. Some of these things can be draining, looking at his age and all that can be trauma. But I don't think from his account they did anything on
If you see his face, if you see his face in the film, he looks stressed.
But I mean, even at your workplace, when you are called before a disciplinary committee, it's enough stress. I mean, some of these things, I mean, the human brain for his age and all that is going on, it will be stressful for him.
You know, when the reports was leaked in the public domain, there was a description by the presidency that the reports was not authentic.
Hearsay. The president said it was a hearsay, actually. Anyway, Roland, let me say good
And now
morning.
we're investigating a hearsay document.
Yes, that's what we are doing now. Let me say good morning to my NDC fraternity. As you can see, I'm all branded. This is brand awareness. The next government coming into power. Professor Frimpong Boateng, Roland, in 2008, a gentleman came to contest under the flag bearership of the MPP. Ghanaians refused to vote for him, and that is our current president. He came back in 2012. Ghanaians said, no way, we won't vote for him. We rejected him. Then in 2016, he came up with a whole lot of, I won't say lies, but a whole lot of missions and visions. Telling Ghanaians he would do this, he would do that, he would do this. Now, one of the core things he said he would do was to fight Galamsey. Roland, our current president made us aware that he's even prepared to put his presidency on the line to fight Galamsey.
Well, he said he's done that so far.
He has not done anything. Roland, have you seen our water bodies? Or you've not seen pictures circulating with our river Pra and all the river? You've not seen the different colors? Roland, haven't you seen them? Well, let me make a point. This gentleman or our president says he's going to fight Galamsey and put his presidency on the line. Fast forward, you came up and then you, instituted a committee, the interministerial committee, to fight illegal mining. Now, the purpose of that committee was to ensure that all the illegal miners are regularized. It was also to ensure that the time frame for acquiring a license to mine is decreased, because those days you can get, like, to be given a license to mine, it takes about 10 years. So you have formed a beautiful committee and put somebody who is not an ordinary person as the chair of the committee. And this person is Professor Frimpong Boateng, who is well known in Ghana. He's a gentleman, educated. He was in his health sector, but got up and said, let me do a bit of politics because I want to serve my nation. So he is the chair of the committee.
What's your point? What point are you driving?
My point is that if the chairman of the committee has identified that there is so much corruption in the Galamsey industry and has written to you, take it as a petition, has written to you, what do you have to do as a government or as a president? Roland, you know the Whistleblowers Act. Let's take it that Professor Frimpong Boateng is a nobody and just came up to tell the president that in the Galamsey industry, your own people who say they are fighting Galamsey are not doing so. And so investigates them. The Whistleblowers Act is supposed to give him protection. And here is the case that the prof has come up with XYZ, and all the best you can do is to put him through the stress.
Well,
Roland, let me finish.
It's a report that he's brought up.
Yes,
so
he's
if it's
brought a
being
report.
investigated according to
So why the
wrong.
arrest? Why does the arrest come in? There is a difference between somebody being called to answer questions and somebody being arrested. Prof said he was called.
So now he's become an accused person.
Exactly. How is that possible? I am calling you to call some people to order. Now you turn around and make me an accused person. This is how unfair MPP government is. How can you do this to a whole professor who has an image to protect, a whole professor who knows exactly what he's talking about. He's just not talking. He knows exactly what he's talking about. He has mentioned names. And those names have come up to deny. Now, you, the special prosecutor, you want to investigate. What is the arrest to the extent of he being given bail? Why then? Where is he running to? I mean, this is so unfair, Roland. This is unfair. And this is how the NPP government is going about things in this country.
How are they going about things?
Bassa. They're just doing things
well,
anyhow.
The Office of the Special Prosecutor, if you look at the act that creates it, it's clothed with those powers.
The Office of the Special Prosecutor is an independent body. It's an independent body.
Supposed to be, yes.
It's supposed to be. The president is not supposed to go and micromanage them or be involved in anything. My question is, why is Professor Frimpong Boateng arrested? Why? To the extent that they carried him to his house to go and see where he lives, Professor Frimpong Boateng, somebody who was the first surgeon in terms of heart surgery in this country. I mean, if you are not going to thank him, don't humiliate him to this extent.
You call this humiliation?
Yes, it is.
Is a special prosecutor doing his work?
The special prosecutor is doing his job. I am saying that do your job, call him, ask him, let him give you further details and further particulars. Don't arrest him and let it seem as if he has done some wrong. What did he do wrong, Roland?
Are you now telling the special prosecutor how to
I am not telling the special prosecutor how to operate. I am saying and giving my opinion as a Ghanaian and as an ordinary Ghanaian. I have opinions. I have opinion how I see things. What I am saying is that as a Ghanaian, I am supposed to be a citizen. Say something and do something. What I am saying is, to me, I think Professor Frimpong Boateng's report should be investigated, yes, but for them to invite him and when he arrives, they tell him, hey, I have arrested you. It's absolutely wrong. I don't know the reason. I don't know what Laratu was saying about it, but why was he arrested? Why have they gone to see his house? Let me ask you, is Professor Frimpong
It's within the purview of the special prosecutor, right?
Yes, but sometimes, Roland, let me say, if it's within their mandate to arrest people, Professor Frimpong Boateng is not one of them to be arrested. He was the one who wrote the report out of his own free will. He was the one who was in his health sector and moved from the health sector to politics. He came out himself. Nobody forced him. He's not running away anywhere.
All right. But he was given a responsibility. According to the Office of the Special Prosecutor, he has to be investigated. We're told that the sum of in excess of some 300 million involving expenditure for which he chaired the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining have become a subject of this controversy for which the OSP needs to investigate. That should suffice as far as your own experiences within how public sector agencies operate, especially if you're in public office.
Roland, thank you very much. Good morning to your viewers. Good morning to my CPP comrades. Good morning to Ghanaians. And good morning to my sisters. And good morning to my best friend, Latif Dan.
That are beatings.
The MP for Ablekuma Central.
Finally, we know him.
You know, yesterday when I was very sad.
When you saw the posters initially?
Yes, I was very sad.
Please speak up for me.
No, Roland, seriously, when I was coming out, I didn't even want to come.
Why?
To come and talk about this matter. That Professor Frimpong Boateng was arrested. He was my board chairman.
He was?
Yes, at the P. I'm very close to him. At the PURC.
Yes, of course. We'll work with you at the
PURC. Yes. He was my board, I think 2006. He was my board chairman. When Kwampi Nim left,
how would you describe him?
Look, an astute gentleman, very hardworking, very straightforward. I remember when Prof ventured into politics, my daddy said that, what is he going to do there? You know, my daddy was a politician.
Yes.
He said, what is he going to do there? That is not a place for him. Because even when you are sick and Frimpong Boateng even touches you, psychologically you'll be well. And I told him that, Prof, you see, politics is not like open heart surgery, where there's precision and method. So you have to know where you are going. I remember I told him that, Prof, if you are going anywhere, then come to CPP. Because for the way you are, that is where you fit. It is so sad that today he's being arrested. But you see, let's pause the argument very well. What is he being arrested for? Is it for the 300 and something million they expended on the committee work? Or it is the report that he wrote? Because you see, when you look at the report that he wrote, I always had a problem with the eyes in the report, which made it a bit personal, but not a committee report. Where he himself said that the people abandoned the work. I think it was only left with Honorable Damboche, the local government minister. So the problem is that I was asking my knowing Prof, why didn't he write a memo to the president, public service, that the work that you gave me, the resource that I'm working with, they've all abandoned the project. So we cannot continue. So the flaw is that for him to have written a report himself, which looked more like lamentations.
He was lamenting.
Yes, over what
You've gone through the 35, 36 page report.
I've just gone through.
You've glanced through. And they are very interesting and serious indictment of individuals.
Let me finish. I'm going
from his personal perspective.
Yes, that is the point. But you see, he was given a job to do as chairman of Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, right? So the report should have been a report from the committee. I haven't spoken to you. The report should have been a report from the committee. Ideally, not from him. Do you get me? So once the report was personal, then it becomes like a bit problematic. It does not also mean that as he was going through the process, he did not find these things that he wrote down. But it didn't look like the report of a committee. It looked like concerns.
He said he was writing it directly to the president. So it looks like a head of a committee who was writing.
You don't do that in public service. You have a committee, you have a secretary to the committee. It's not the chairman who writes the report. It's a secretary to the... And the secretary himself was also indicted. So it means that there was a total collapse of that committee. So he shouldn't have even put himself into it. I was a bit surprised that when he was a minister and they accused him of being involved in Galamsey, his son and all that, the prof that I know would have resigned. I am not talking about somebody who is just, he's like a father. I mean, I remember when I was in PURC, sometimes he could show me how the open heart surgery was being done. He had videos of it and he would show it. He's somebody who is very passionate. You see, he's the person, and I always say it, that when Chachu Chikata was in prison and he was brought to Kaju, he actually wrote a letter to President Kufuor, the condition of Chachu.
Professor Frimpong Boateng.
Yes. I was there in his office. The condition of Chachu, he should not be taken back to prison. And he was MPP. But he acted as a medical professional. This is the person, very straightforward. So I just sat and I was just looking at everything that was going on. And I said, why is Prof putting himself in this? He does not need to be a minister. He doesn't need to be a minister. If you know Prof, he doesn't need to be a minister. He didn't need to be in politics.
So what he wanted to serve?
If you want to serve, you have to serve in a manner, in a place where your ideals will be respected. For anybody to even think that they have arrested Frimpong Boateng with this public charade, it is sad. The first African to do an open heart surgery, a Ghanaian. That is for Professor Frimpong Boateng. So even if he had done something wrong,
do you think he's being hounded?
I don't know whether he's being hounded or not, but they should tell us exactly what it is that he was arrested for. You see, if you say he was called for an interview, if you are called for an interview, you are not asked to be bailed. Your house, nobody goes to your house. Do you get me? Nobody guarantees your bail. A sum is not put on it. What did he do wrong? Lara too hinted that taxpayers' money. Has anybody been called on the taxpayers' money that has been used to dig holes at the National Cathedral.
You seem extremely worried about the way he's been treated.
Yes, because I know who he is. And we should not treat our own like that, Roland. This is our own. Somebody who has been trained, somebody who is a heart surgeon, one of the most delicate parts of our body. It is this man. He might have his flaws. He's a human being. In desperation, he wrote this report because he was being asked. And that is the prof I know, that he thought that because they couldn't get to the end of the investigations with the committee, he had to do something because it would look as if he has been ineffective. So the little information that he had to put it together. But for me, as I'm telling you, when I looked at the report, the eyes were too many. It became like some lamentations. Fruitless, fruitful. As you're saying that there were things there that indicted people, but some of the things that are in there, these things are known and spoken about. For a public servant and a minister, what he should have done to absolve himself from this kind of ridicule and shame is to have just said that my committee could not work. But he has a commitment towards making sure that this country works. Prof had always had a commitment. Because you see, Roland, if we do this to those who come down and work, who come down and support our country, what will happen to those out there? After him, there are other heart surgeons. Do you think they will come? He built the cardiothoracic unit with his own money, and he was held by His Excellency J.J. Rawlings. And he brought that unit, and everybody was going there for diabetes, for kidney, for all the diseases. And this is a great man. It's not somebody that we can just take him for granted. A Ghanaian who has achieved such a feat. It does not matter about what he has said. It does not matter about his temperament. It does not matter about anything. What matters is that what did he do wrong? Does he have receipts for the money that was spent? Is it like a payback time? Is it like an equalization that you wrote this, so you have spent this and you have to come and expose it?
What do you make of the argument that he supervised certain activity and, of course, headed the committee? And so if there are some liabilities with the way he undertook his work, all the committee did his work, he's the man responsible.
So that is what I am saying, that they should come and tell us which one. Is it the report? Now, erroneously, everybody is talking about the report, that he was invited because of the report. Do you get me? There are auditors. If he spent some money, we have the Internal Audit Agency, we have the the Auditor General, we have internal auditors in the ministry. Was there a report? It starts from the internal auditor in the ministry. Is there a report which has said that Professor Frimpong Boateng, as chairman of this committee, spent so much and there are loopholes and we believe there are no receipts? You believe it cannot be accounted for? I'm asking you. No, Roland, you see, we need to see those audit reports. Then you can establish. There are even external auditors who can even be taken to economic crime, Yoko. Then Yoko will get the external auditors to look into the matter. Exactly. Then when it looks into the matter and they found that there's some complicity, then maybe the OSP will come on board.
Before I come to Laura too,
you come to our time, you made Laura to talk and now you are giving me time.
Now, before, based on your experiences with the way these institutions,
you've been sending things to talk on. Yeah, I'm good. Let's go on.
No, based on the way these institutions have worked, Yoko, etc. Ideally, could there have been a better way Professor Frimpong Boateng could have been treated in these matters?
I've given you the process. If the matter before OSP is money that was spent in his ministry for meetings, certain allowances, whatever, if there are no receipts, the auditor in the ministry there should be a report from, maybe they have it, they are not bringing, there should be a report from the auditor in the ministry. there should be a report from the Auditor General that this amount of money was spent on the committee and we don't have receipts, there are no signatures and all that. When you get to that, then you decide which way you will take it. Either you take it to OSP, you take it to Yoko or wherever. Do they have those reports? And now we are not so clear about the fact that whether it's the 300 and something we are dealing with, is it 3 million or 300? Whatever it is we are dealing with, or the report. You see, Roland, let me tell you something.
Please do.
Talking from experience, yesterday I was sad. If this
experience from where?
From my own experience, if these things are done to you.
Were you also hounded like this?
And if you are not careful, looking at Prof, you might never get out of it. Especially if you have good intentions.